Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay and welcome to a place called Chawton in Hampshire. Now this is very near to Jane Austen's house, which I'll show you in a minute, but I come here today to do my Sunday run. I left it as late as possible because it was a baking hot day. So I'm going to do try and do up to 10 miles I think on the old railway here. Now I need to first of all select some shoes, so I thought I'd give you a little look at the back of my car and see what we've got, and then I'll make my decision. So I should stress that this is just a selection of the shoes that I've got with me today. We've got some Adios Pros here, we've got the Endorphin Pro 2, we've got some Nike Pegasus Turbo 2s, which was a good favourite. We've got some golf shoes, probably not ideal. Now these ones are interesting, some sort of Puma number that I picked up, like a suede upper. But just look at that low stack there. I think this is basically a spike with no spikes. I have to put in what these are actually called, but I'm not sure I've actually ever run in these. I think I might have done a few miles, but that is just absolutely aggressive. And there's no foam there at all. That is just rock hard. I think I'd use this more as a driving shoe, but they look tiny, don't they? But yeah, this is kind of how you might imagine flats to have been in the 60s maybe. Got some Adios 5s here. They might not be a bad choice today. Got the Pegasus Trail 2 GTX, which absolutely weigh like a ton, and I'm not expecting to be overly muddy today being it's so warm, so I think I'll forgo those ones. I've got some track spikes, the infamous Dragonflies there. Don't think they'll be the order of the day. I've even got some Next Percent 2s lurking in the back. Now, if I come here, I've got the Liberate Nitro. Now, these might be my favoured one. Got the New York colourway in the Endorphin Speed. That's still the first version. I've got a Next Percent 1 Valerian Blue colourway. And even got some Invincibles. I think they would be a bit much for a sort of a firmish trail. These ones might not be too bad. The Brooks Launch 8, but yeah, not a bad do-it-all shoe. What else have I got here? It's got some more spikes. I think these are the Air Zoom Victories. These are the ones that are sort of 8 and 15 spike, maybe a bit aggressive. All the gear and no idea type one, I think. And we've even got some Atreo Artists. So we've got plenty of racing shoes, but I think what I'm going to do, because I haven't really given it a proper test on a sort of a trail, which I sort of bought them for, is to take the Liberate Nitros out. I'm only going to go easy today. And if you look at the front, I found one more pair here. These are the Adios 6, which are sadly the ones that are just a fraction too small for me. Now, a viewer on my comments suggested I try and manufacture some extra length by either cutting away the toe box there or trying some different insoles, because these insoles are fairly big. They do feel a bit of sponge on them, so I might try that later, but having tried running them yesterday, maybe they're not the order of the day. So I think I've selected my weapon of choice today, the Liberate Nitros. They're ultra lightweight and hopefully won't need too much extra cushioning on a trail. Let's just see how they shape up at sort of an 8-minute mile pace. It'll be the first time I've actually run 10 miles for a couple of months, so looking to see if I can get through that. I ran about 7 or 8 last night, which wasn't too bad. Felt a lot better after my treatment at the physios on Thursday. So as I go along, I sort of talk you through what I've been up to recently. So Liberate Nitro's on, and these are one of the best fitting shoes I've got at the moment. Nice and narrow across the midfoot there, but they do actually expand a bit over the front. So I've got plenty of room there, which is the complete opposite to the Adios 6. So whereas I've got a thumb width there, I've actually got no room in the Adios 6. So definitely see that these are a lot better. The Liberate Nitro reminded me of what the Adios could be for me if I actually did a size bigger. So using my gripe about Adios only going up to an UK 12.5, and these are a Puma UK 13, but the 12.5 in an Adidas are actually like a Nike UK 12, so they actually are effectively a full size less than I need, I think. Right, let's get out on this run. I've got some ultra minimalist Ron Hill shorts on today, but they've got a nice big pocket at the back, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to hold my GoPro. What I do is the GoPro is I've got it on a little selfie stick, so when I'm not actually filming anything, I just stick it in the back pocket if I've got one. So that means I can run free, so I don't have to be like some YouTubers who run with a big pole permanently for hours on end, which I never quite understood how they manage that. So here we are outside Jane Austen's house in Chawton. This is where I'm actually going to start the run and where I just parked over there. So great place to start. Right, let's get on with this run, and then I found this old railway after about a mile, I think. crossing the A32, completely silent road at the moment, but just up there is the big A junction with the A31. So this can get rather busy, so fortunately missed out the road bit. So looking beyond me is the old railway that used to go down to Farringdon is the next stop. Alton in Hampshire was that way. And if you ever go on the steam train, you can see where the junction was. And they just rebuilt the bridge very near there actually. Stephen Cousins and I did a video I'll link onto when we did the run on the line. So you run past the junction to this old line here. So there's a station at Farringdon. There's not much to see there, but we'll see where it is. But there's another nice one at East Tisted, which hopefully we'll get as far to as possible. And yeah, it's a bit of an off the beaten track, this one, so you very rarely come across anybody. So I hope to have a nice silent run. Liberate Nitro's feel quite nice so far. Extremely light. I've had a bit of problem with my quad, as you might imagine in various videos, so I'm taking it sort of gingerly, just trying to build up some steady miles, I think, rather than trying to do it too fast. I think I realised that in talking with my coach, that I just need to be patient and start building back up again. I've not actually run 50 miles now for a couple of months, so I'm starting to feel a bit unfit as well. But the run I did yesterday was certainly encouraging, so I'll see if I can get through this run. But actually better start running, hadn't I? We'll show you a bit more of the old road and we'll get to something a bit more interesting. So you can always tell an old railway when you've got a nice bridge there, seemingly connecting one field to another field with no particular purpose. But it's also great to see when the bridges are still there. It evokes memories of times when trains come down there. I think this line closed in the 50s. It was kind of even before Beeching, so it was closed long before my arrival to the scene in 1966. And I'm now 54, coming on 55, so 65 years ago, the train would have come down here, I would have said. Okay, we've come to the end of this first little section of old railway here. This is the public footpath I've just been on. Back from that way. Near the birds are rustling in the trees. I haven't had any GPS issues like FOD runner, so I'm trying to help him out with that and see what's what. Because I've quite a lot of experience with Garmin watches over the years. But a little known fact behind us, that bit there is partially filled in tunnel. That bridge, I believe, was where the very first milk tray advert was filmed from. The star of the show, sort of like the James Bond type guy, jumped from that bridge onto a train that was passing and delivered his milk tray to his chosen lady in that advert. So I'll see if I can find a link to that video, which I saw the other day. I'm pretty sure it's this bridge. Let's go and have a quick look at it while we're here. Yeah, we can actually get down to the level, but you can see it's sort of filled in apart from a little gap there for maybe some birds or something to just get through. I think you can get through there if life depended on it, but there's an industrial estate behind. So we go up to the top of the bridge on the road and look down and see what...
And all because the lady loves milk tray.
Here we go, so this is looking into the industrial estate through that little air hole that we're just looking at. And back there is where we've just come from. You can see in the distance there's a path just about past all that overgrowth. So if you're feeling nostalgic for milk tray, maybe you can take a visit here to remember it. Right, let's carry on to the old station. Obviously we can't get through there. I think we can go on a footpath that sort of goes through it. So this is what we need to be aware of. Remember Chris from Here I Am Running encountered some cows. I can't remember if they had horns on. I don't think he encountered any bulls, so we'll have to be quick through here if we see any. Okay, I think the coast is clear, so I'll make a dash for it over there so I can see the little gap. There's another warning sign this way as well. Right. So I think we're now basically on the track bed, but not going to be able to get through there. It's a dead end, so as you can see the exit is there. So go on the road a little bit and then we'll show you where the site of Farringdon station was. Not Farringdon in London, it's Farringdon in Hampshire, I should add. So a bit of a giveaway because there's some houses here called the Old Siding. So we'll go up here and get in the back of the where the old station was.
as I can tell, this was the site of Faringdon Station, pretty much standing on it now. That's where that building was the kind of the end of the platform, I think. What we can see, however, if you go down here, it must have been on a bit of a embankment as it came over. So they've demolished the bridge across the road, but you can see where it then ran up the other side, and that's where we're going next. So I've now come through the other end of the business park, and I guess on that level ground there, that must have been where the platform was, I think. So then we swooped down. I think this would have been basically underneath the railway. It would have come in, I think, on an embankment. And you can see where it used to be in a sec. So I'm now on the A32 here. And then if you got the business park was back up there. But if I swing around, you can see that there was the embankment there. And also they clearly filled in the cutting that was there. And there's a path that goes alongside of it. And the next stop is East Tisted, which we're heading to in about 2 miles' time. Now this line eventually joins up with what is now the Meon Valley Trail, which you can start at West Meon and goes down to Wickham. And then the railway itself joined the main line at Knoll, and it then went on to Fareham. Okay, so having passed through Farringdon, we're now back on the railway line proper. You can see much more like I imagine an old railway to be, like an old track through open countryside. Well, it's about 1.5 miles to East Tisted, so there's not a huge deal to see on the way, maybe a few bridges. So how are the Liberate Nitros? Well, they're quite good so far for this sort of run. I'm not obviously pushing the pace at all, so only starts to talk to the camera. I'd like to go for a muddy bit here actually. You might see on the rear view in a sec. That bit does get really muddy in the winter. It's only tends to come here in the summer. Yeah, so sort of the history was I was doing some reps on the treadmill for that video where I was filming myself, see how I looked, and then I kind of twinged it on the last one, and I didn't think much of it. Then a bit later I did some 200-meter reps on the track, and I sort of twinged it again towards the end. Got through the session, did the warm down, then the next day I did a 5-mile easy road run, recovery run in the Rebel 2s, and they really stiffened up. Now, they may well have stiffened up anyway, but I did wonder whether the Rebel 2 was contributing. It was just so soft. So in comparison, these Liberate Nitros are a lot lower to the ground and a lot firmer. So I thought I'd try some slightly firmer shoes. Well, maybe not as firm as those Puma spikeless spikes I showed you. Just passed over a bridge there. We're high up on an embankment here. I always like embankments and on roads because you can kind of look down and imagine how things used to be. So what other news have I got? Well, boring thing is my mom's been in hospital for a week, so I went to visit her earlier on. Seems to be a bit better than last time I visited, but still a concern. She's been in a week now and no indication yet when she'll be going home. She hasn't got COVID or anything, which is one thing, but they're just trying to work out what's actually wrong with her. So I won't try and guess on this video, but yeah, so sending her my best wishes, of course, and all my love. So he was going to Portugal. I decided not to go because I was only going to go for a week, and to quarantine for a week for the sake of 7 days in the sun seemed a bit excessive, especially when it's so nice at home. So it's me and Daisy back home. At least Daisy would be pleased. Daisy, my cat, that is, if you've not seen her in some of my videos. Okay, this is where the old railway peters out as we head into East Tisted. Looks like the path is actually closed, but we've come through it. It's got a long way back going the other way, so I think I'll have to use this way back anyway. Right, let's go and look at the old station here, because this is quite one good one to see. So Bridle Close is where we access the old railway, going back towards Austen and Faringdon. So the railway basically would have come where that fence is in the background there, on that embankment. Obviously now there's a house in the way, but we can go up here and have a look at the station. So there's a rather grand old station at East Tisted, as it's a private house. We're not dwell too much in front of it, but we are on a public footpath here, and this is the bridge that would have taken trains out of the platform. we look down, they've even got an old carriage there, and what looks very much like a sort of a waiting rope type garden shed. So very lovely adaptation. Going this way, you just find nettles at that end, but it's filled in there, but we can run up a bit and see a bit more of it. Okay, so we definitely have come as far as we can get at the moment. I think this bit actually here is a public footpath. And there's a segment on here which I think I've lost a while back, and I was meaning to have another go. So it would be an ideal time of the year to challenge it. But if they're going to fell the trees, it maybe will clear the path for another attempt. But with my dodgy leg, maybe it's not a great idea. So I think we'll turn back now. How far have I gone? Oh, I've done 4.46 miles. So yeah, so maybe we'll do another mile when we get back the other end, and then make it up to 10 that way. Okay, so what's next for me? Well, tomorrow night, I might not get this video out in time, there's a Vets League, and I'm the league secretary. Clubs like Epsom and Ewell, Kingston and Polly, clubs like that. So I'm going to be organising it tomorrow. I think I decided not to run. There was an 8 or a 3,000, but I think I'm not fit and my leg's not really up to it anyway. I got through this 4.5 miles, but a bit stop-start, so a nice little gentle run, but I could feel in the bits when I was running along and not talking to the camera. It was a bit of a struggle. So yeah, that would be good fun, and maybe get some videos from that and turn that into a bit of a video as well. I was using the open track system working with Andy Robertson. He's got like an export into Power 10, so it's useful to know one of the key systems that we use to feed the results into Power 10. So good to touch base with them and exchange ideas for our respective systems. They don't really clash with each other at the moment, so we try to sort of keep our two markets similar. So we try to keep our two markets kind of separate, which is good. So he takes care of all the sort of pre stuff, and I take care of all the result side. Well, I say I, but the team of people I work with, like Steve Way, who looks after the road side, and Jackie Brett on the track, and a few others as well. Some ex-internationals that we've had working for us, past and present. So yeah, I'm not even the fastest person on the team. In fact, I'm one of the slowest, because we've got Steve Way's the 100k British record holder, and he was until recently the M40 marathon holder. That's now gone. Right, so let's head back, and it's a really baking evening, so good job I'm not trying to do anything hard, but legs okay so far. I can feel like it's slightly got to be cautious here, but making a bit of progress, getting some steady miles in, and yeah. Maybe need to lose a few pounds as well. I'm about 73 or 74. With my best marathon, I was about 69 kilograms in 2005, and I was about 71 for Seville in early 2020. So maybe 3 kilograms less would help. But I think when it's warmer, you sweat more, a bit more active. Maybe some morning runs I need to try as well, because I'm always going out late at night. So I hope you found this little tour of the old railway and catching up with a bit of my miscellaneous news interesting, and look forward to seeing you on the next one then. Bye! Okay, back we go. I think it's downhill this way, so that should help a bit. So I've run 4.5 miles on public footpath, nearly 5, and I haven't seen anybody else that I've overtaken. I saw a couple of people walking back in the village there. That's it. Thought I was done with the old railway. All I have really, this is a bit of old new railway. It looks like old railway. The old railway at the top is actually the live line. I think that must be the heritage line past Austen. So I've gone to here and hoping I'm going to head back towards Chawton there. What I didn't say is how to liberate nitros. Well, I think they're pretty good actually for this sort of run. Just taking it nice and easy. So much lighter than a trail shoe. I mean, these are about 240 grams compared to 400 grams for the Trail 2 GTX from Pegasus. And just sort of, that's a huge difference in weight. So just sort of going along easy. They've got a nice bit of cushioning. and the surface has been sort of firm, compacted trail. A little bit of specks of mud here and there, but pretty firm, to be honest. So, and apologies for my voice, I think I lost it a bit with the heat. Okay, one more railway bridge, and this is definitely the heritage line. This is past Austen on the way to Four Marks, and then you've got Ropley and Alresford. Hope to remember that, the Watercress line. I've been on it a few times. War on the Line's really good if it's on. Normally it's in June actually, but I imagine with COVID they're not on this year. But this is the one I did Walk the Line on with Stephen, and I did it years ago, so I've done it twice. It's an obscure course record that only can beat once a year if you're lucky. And so the final sightseeing stop on the tour, Chawton House. Rather imposing house, isn't it? I have to look up the connection between Chawton House and where Jane Austen lived. I think there was a connection. So just over 11 miles run, that's very good. There's a bit of progress. Bit of discomfort in the quad, I just feel a bit sore, but I'm just taking it easy, not pushing the pace at all. And the Liberate Nitro is good for that. Most of that run was on a sort of a softish trail surface, just a bit of road here and there. The road bits felt quite nice, and felt that if I had to do a faster bit on the road, it'd be a good shoe to take out. A bit low to the ground, but a nice bit of cushioning, very similar to the Hyperion Tempo, but just less of it. So in that sense, a bit more of a racy shoe, but still feeling just sort of almost as cushioned actually. In some ways more so. So much lighter as well. So I think I definitely prefer this one to that one. Right, finally we'll say goodbye now.